Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 1 of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. My name is Jodi Grinwald, and I have been your host since we started. It is incredible, the journey that happens when your why is greater than your how. That's something that I love to share with my guests and my listeners all the time. Because back in 2020, December 30th of 2020, when I launched the podcast, I had no idea what I was doing, how I was going to make everything happen, who was going to be a guest, who was going to be the listeners. And to date, I have interviewed 152 guests over the 4 years in 133 episodes. And those people came from 12 different countries around the globe. It is really incredible when you find something in your heart that means so much to you and you take a moment or you rush a moment, which is what I did, because in October 2020, I said, I'm going to make this happen. And December 30th, it launched. But I do want to share that it was 3.5 years prior to that I thought about having a podcast. So sometimes things take time to happen. And when your why is greater than your how, and something just clicks, you start to move forward. And your passion and excitement kind of becomes contagious. I'm sure you've met people who have that, and you jump on board with something that they're doing. And I know that people have done the same for you. And it is possible to make things happen that seem impossible. So please know that if you're listening. I have so many things I want to share with you as there's so much coming up in season 5. Our first interview, or my first interview, will be with Kieran Sheehan. He is an actor, singer, and if you went to see on Broadway Phantom of the Opera, you might have seen him as the Phantom. So he performed for several years as the Phantom of the Opera. He's now performing with the Four Phantoms. You can see him in concert. He's been in a couple of movies. He's performed all over the world in Carnegie Hall. So listen to his interview. It's not just about his singing and his acting. He's been through some very, very big challenges, and he also has had some incredible miracles happen for him. So it will be a wonderful story to share coming up very soon. So I hope you listen to that episode. That's the first one. And our second one is Catherine Curry Williams. Catherine has been in the acting world herself. Raised in New York as I am. She moved to California and she has just been doing incredible things. So she is an author on a new book. And she is also a new TEDx speaker. So more to come. Take a listen to that episode to learn more about her book and to learn where you can listen to her TEDx talk. And so many more guests. We have already many episodes already pre-done, ready to go so that we can share them with you. What I wanted to tell you is Changemakers has become not just a podcast. It is a movement. It is not just a forum. It is a community. So the International Changemakers Forum, if you have not been a part of them before, and I'm very sorry we did not have one in 2024. Unfortunately, there were so many different things going on for me, and being the person in charge of all of those roles, as I'm sure you know, and multiple companies, and also having a bit of a major surgery in between all of that, I unfortunately was not able to bring on a Changemakers Forum in 2024. But previously, the forums were hosted with over 100 people virtually on for 6 hours. And the forum consists of having the Changemaker guests, those who want to be a part of it, come together to formulate the topics that we will speak on. So 6 topics are chosen, breakout sessions are created, and those changemakers who are experts in the fields of which they choose to talk about come on and share some incredible words of wisdom, tips, tools, resources. And every time I've surveyed the guests and attendees post-event, everybody says that they've walked away with some nugget. I always say, if you can walk away with one nugget from anything you go to, you have won. So with that being said, we're looking at 2025. in the fall of 2025 to have our next forum. Fred Wozniak is my co-chair, as he likes to say. He is the president and CEO of the Food Bank of South Jersey, and he has been my co-host for about 6 episodes now. So with that being said, you will hear in those episodes that he is due for his jacket. If anybody has watched Saturday Night Live, you will understand what that is about. I learned that from him. And so soon we will be presenting Fred with his Today's the Day Changemakers jacket as well. The guests that I have on have ranged from the CNN heroes, TEDx speakers, authors, CEOs, and incredible people who are making a difference in the world. But titles don't define a human being. And so many times we define ourselves when we meet someone, we say, "Hi, my name is, and I am CEO of," or whatever your title may be. But you are so much more than that. You are maybe a mother, a sister, a wife, a spouse, and a good human. And the reason I share this with you is that as I continue to put guests on to the Changemakers podcast, those guests are about sharing their stories, not their title, about the things that they are doing in their corner of the world and beyond to make a difference. And because of that, we've been able to connect so many of the change makers together. So it's incredible. One story is my change maker who wrote a book and he lives in Greece was brought into New Jersey to share his story. And the organization that brought him in bought over 100 of his books to share. That's just one of many different things that have happened and connections that have happened because this is a community, a global community. And the more I have seen the connections happen, the more I continue to think about the next steps. And the next steps are a membership, an opportunity to come together in this community where you will meet people that you wouldn't typically meet. I want you to take a moment to just think about for a minute how far your reach is. So if you, let's say, like myself, live in New Jersey, typically our reach may be in our metropolitan area, right? So it could be New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, surrounding areas. But typically not everybody would have a connection in Uganda or Greece or the UK or New Zealand or the Netherlands. And through Changemakers, that absolutely happens. But it doesn't just happen online. And it's not just talking to each other online. As we move forward, and the things that I want to do here will include the opportunity to really connect with people globally. And what we'll do best is really learn from each other. I cannot begin to tell you how much I have learned from the incredible guests that I have had on, who have not only stayed guests, they have actually become friends. A lot of times, as of late, I've been receiving requests from PR firms to see if they would, if they could get one of their clients on the podcast, which is a true honor that is happening. With that being said, I then become friends with that specific guest, typically. And then I help that guest connect with other people who may be able to help them in business or help them personally. And that's what Changemakers is all about. It's also about moving different types of topics together, talking about them, learning from each other, master classes. Again, more to come on something that I really want to create. And I don't love the word membership, but the membership is a community, really. And that's what I want to create, this global ongoing community, not only where we can meet virtually, but where we can connect in person when possible. The International Changemakers Forum, as I said, will happen in fall of 2025. That will be virtual because it's very hard to bring. Last time it was 7 countries that were represented with way over 100 people who were part of the Zoom. Not only for the forum do we have the 6 breakout sessions, but we also do a mission moment, and we also provide funding to an organization that's a nonprofit. And we also have an opportunity to network because networking is key. And when we just act as who we are, and it's not acting, it's just being true to ourselves, all the business in the world can happen. When we become salesy and try to sell ourselves or sell our organizations in a very salesy way, we lose our authenticity. And that's why I have really seen not only people connect, people hire people that were change makers, just so many. I wish I could share all the stories, more to come. And we will be creating a map And I want to thank Fred Wozniak for coming up with that idea to kind of showcase all the connections that happen through Changemakers. So those are just some of the things that are in the works. But here is the last thing. I have wanted to be an author for a really long time. And I have so much I want to share through the things that I have learned and the lessons that I have learned in my life. We all learn from each other. And so many of our stories could be similar, but we're all unique because we're all originals. We think differently. We're made up of lots of the same things, but our processing is very different. And the experiences that we have is unique to us. They are unique to us, I should say. So with that being said, I am creating a book called Inspiration from Everyday Changemakers. And with that book, I am asking if our changemakers from around the globe would like to own a chapter. There is a cost to own a chapter. It's minimal compared to the things that you might have seen out there. It's not about the money. It's truly about the sharing. Connectivity happens organically when we share who we truly are, experiences. So what is this book about? Inspiration from Everyday Changemakers. Well, I had created a magazine yearly that was sent out to all those who attended the forum and all of the changemakers who were part of the podcast. But in this case, what I want to do is each chapter to be shared about the change-making work, inspiration. Think about it, for lack of a better way of saying it, it's chicken soup for the soul for changemakers. So I'll give you an example. I brought the magazine on the plane with me when I was afraid to fly. Then I hadn't flown for 27 years. And I used it to find inspiration. I just flipped to a page and I read an article from John Belizaire from Soluna Holdings, who was one of my Changemaker guests twice, not just once. And he wrote just an incredible piece on and something so inspirational and inspiring that in that moment, I really, really needed it. So I want to create a place that if you've wanted to be a published author but had no idea how to do it, and you really don't know what you want to say, but you have some inspiring words of inspiration, something that you could share with someone when they're maybe having a fabulous day and they want to make it better, or they're not having a fabulous day and they need some inspiration. It's about bringing, again, that global community together and creating authors from around the globe in one place. So I hope if you're interested, do not worry about what the cost is. Come to me and let's have a conversation. It is really important that together as a community, we continue to help lift each other up. And if I didn't have the mentors in my life do that, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So please, 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 if you're interested in learning more about the book, if you're interested in learning more about how to be heard on this podcast because you do have a story to tell, you can reach me at Jodi at todayistheday.liveit.com. Today is the day, liveit.com. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are downloaded in 855 cities around the globe, which is so incredibly amazing. Our YouTube channel doesn't have as many subscribers. So I hope to really help push that because, again, the voices and the way the algorithm works, just being honest, is the voices get heard more if there are more subscribers. I don't buy subscribers. I don't believe in that. Everything is organic the way I do it. So just know that. That's very important. So as we go into this new year, I just wanted to share something with you. Every year, I choose something, or feel sometimes it chooses me, that represents my year, right? So I had the year of the tree, which was about staying grounded and rooted no matter what comes my way. There was the year of the dragonfly. There was the year of the butterfly. This past year was the year of the whale. And the year of the whale was really about perseverance and wisdom. And this year, I am excited to share that this year is about the year of the turtle. So I wrote a few things down that I wanted to share. Memorization is not my strong point at this age, but it's about patience and persistence and protection and longevity, especially after dealing with something as a major surgery that I had in 2024. And it's about being grounded and having balance. And as I said last year, actually, the whale was wisdom and healing and harmony and balance. So some of it is similar, but the turtle also has patience and persistence and protection. Because at the end of the day, we all get hurt from things that happen to us. And we all get let down when things don't go our way. So it's nice to feel like you have a little bit of a shell so that you can protect yourself when things start to go a different way than you want them to, but the persistence will help you get to where you want to go to. So that's really key and important. I also want to share that most people don't know that I absolutely do have a couple of other businesses. And that's what I think is important. We all are multidimensional. Some of us, we stay focused on one thing because it drives us and we love it. Others, like myself, with what I say is adult ADHD, which I feel like I had since I was a kid, is just I need many factors to keep me going and to keep me thriving and to help all of you connect with each other, because the more people I meet, the more I have a great spectrum of people to introduce you to. So just so you know, I am the CEO and co-founder of the Zach G. Uploader Kids Foundation. And also Today is the Day is also a consulting business where I go out and I do speaking on multiple topics and trainings. And what I love about doing that and talking to audiences is watching them have sometimes their incredible aha moments, or moments where they're like, I don't really understand what you're saying and I'm not getting something from it. And then we sit and we talk because we all learn differently. So there's so much happening. Today is the day. There's so much happening in my sphere. And I know for you, there's so much happening in yours. All of us are super busy. All of us wear many titles and have many hats. But the most important thing is to find time to be in the present, to provide yourself with the self-care that you need. In this upcoming year, there will be hurdles, there will be obstacles, but there will be joy and there will be happiness. And if we don't stay present in that happiness, and there'll be a tool that I'm going to be sharing. And so with that being said, as you can tell, I'm all over the place in excitement in this upcoming year. But a couple of quick things is self-care. After having a major surgery and realizing that self-care is not selfish, I am going to challenge all of you to make sure, I don't care if it's 1 minute, I don't care if it's 5 minutes, I don't care if it's 10 minutes or a half hour or whatever it is that you feel you need. Be present in that moment. There are many things that will come up in our lives throughout this next year, as I said. And during those times, take in the happy, take in the good, feel them, share them. And when the challenges come, feel them as well. But know that the next day, in a week, in a month, whatever it's going to be, the time will pass. And people are out there to support and help you throughout this year. There are people to lean on. And I just want everyone to always know that there is support out there for the things that we go through. So when you're happy, when you share that joy, you connect better with people and you lift yourselves up. And there are moments where you're like, how am I going to get out of where I am right now? And this feeling of feeling overwhelmed. Starting a new year can be super exciting. New year, new you. It can also feel challenging. So much to do. So there's a balance between the two. And I'm here to help if anybody needs anything. I am so excited. Changemakers is launching season 5, the forum, some tips and tools and resources, masterclasses, a membership, a book. All of these things are happening. Stay tuned. Please again, download and subscribe. And remember, as I say at the end of every episode, today is the day. You cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So what steps, small or large, are you going to be taking today and this year to get yourselves closer to your goal? And I just want to share real quick. I got a new puppy, and his name is Marcello, and he probably will be part of the podcast, possibly most likely on my lap as my co-pilot. But I'm grateful to have him. I am so, so grateful. And have a great week, everyone. Bye.